In track and field news now, Dominique Scott-Efurd ran the second fastest time for a South African woman over 21.1 kilometers as she finished third in a time of 67 minutes and 32 seconds. That was at the Houston Half Marathon back in January. Then in April, she beat Caster Semenya to the national 5,000-meter title in Cape Town. And she looks set for a big year. She joins us now from her home in the United States. A very good evening and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Thanks for having me.
So Dominique, so far so good in 2022. Is this just how you had thought the year would go?
Yeah, it's been a great start to the year. COVID 2020, 2021 wasn't ideal for anyone, including athletes. So it's great to just be getting 2022 off to a good start with some real meets, having spectators at the meets again, and just doing what we do best.
And you are chasing down Ilana Meyer's records and times. Is that the big goal?
Yeah, Ilana's made it pretty hard for me. She has some very impressive marks across the board from the 5,000 all the way to the 21K to the half marathon. So yes, she's making me work hard, but it's definitely the goal to try and better some of those South African records during my career.
What are some of the other big goals? Because this year we've got World Championships first from the 15th to the 24th of July. And then directly after that, it's the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham from the 28th of July to the 8th of August.
Yeah, like you said, we have the World Champs and the Commonwealth Games this summer, so it's a busy and exciting summer for track athletes. I have qualified for both events in the 5,000 and the 10,000 meters, so my coach and I will choose closer to the time which events or both we want to run. But yeah, looking forward to the summer, especially with having such a good start to the year.
Yeah. I mean, you've made the final at the Olympic Games in the 10,000 meters. One would assume then that your focus would naturally be on the 10K on the track, or is that not so?
No, that definitely is that is the case. I'm definitely better at the longer distances. The 5K is almost becoming a speedy event for me. So my focus will be on the 10K kind of this year, starting with this year and going onwards.
Yeah. What was it like to run with Caster Semenya?
Well, Caster and I have competed against each other since I was in grade 11 or grade 10 in school. So her and I have, competed against each other for about 14 years. This was the first time that I was able to get the win against her. I've come second to her many times. But she's a great competitor and she always makes it a good, tough, honest race. But yeah, I was very excited to finally get a win against her.
It was, however, at 5,000 meters, not a distance that she's particularly used to, one that you are used to, perhaps, and have a little bit more experience at. Just how difficult is it for an athlete to shift events on the track, especially when you come from being an 800-meter specialist, as in Caster's case?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know exactly what her training looks like, obviously, but I can assume that her training has had to shift quite drastically, doing more endurance type work. There is a big difference between the 800 and the 5,000 meters. I've run the 5,000 for many years now, and I can tell you I'm not an 800-meter runner. So I definitely applaud her for stepping up to the challenge and having to change her distances. It's definitely not an easy task. How
imminent do you feel a medal is at a major international competition? You think it's going to happen in 2022?
I don't know about this year, but definitely the progress that I'm seeing and the trajectory that I'm seeing in my career points in that direction. I'm not sure whether it's going to be on the track or possibly in a road race. The marathon is also competed at the World Championships and at the Olympics, and within the next year or two, I plan to debut in the marathon. I think that's probably where I'm going to see the most success. So I'm excited to see what I can do for South Africa in the next coming years.
Just how much do you enjoy road running in comparison to the track? You're obviously doing a lot more of that on the road. Fantastic performance earlier this year, over 21 Ks.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit more at home on the roads, which is kind of strange, seeing that the track is where I was brought up and where most of my running and racing has happened over my career. But the road just kind of makes me feel at home, and I feel like I'm where I need to be and where I'm the type of runner that I'm made to be. So I'm really excited about the potential on the roads.
What was it like coming to run in your hometown in the Western Cape at the National Championships? And what do you make of the standard of South African athletics? Because we've had a couple of youngsters really burst through over the past couple of months.
It was so exciting. I was born and raised in Cape Town. I went to school in Stellenbosch. So being able to compete in Greenpoint with my friends and family in the stands was such a treat. It was really, really special. To compete for a South African title on home soil was great. South African track and field is definitely on the ups. It's really exciting to see so many youngsters getting excited about track and, wanting to compete and try and make teams. So it's really cool to see, all the youngsters stepping up and running some great times.
If you look at the journey that some of the South African runners have taken, for many years there was always this question, and it's for track and field athletes as well as for swimmers, about whether or not to go to the United States or whether just to actually stay here at home. If you look at some of the success that South African-based athletes and swimmers have had that have taken the decision not maybe to go abroad and for university and train there, do you think that you would have chosen a different path?
Oh, it's such a personal decision. For me, I was offered a scholarship to run and study at the University of Arkansas. Going to Arkansas for myself was, I think, the best decision. I was not ready to be a professional athlete coming out of high school. So that 5 years at the University of Arkansas really helped me kind of take that next step and be ready to compete on the professional scene. But other athletes come out of high school and, they're already good enough to get a sponsorship in South Africa and be supported by a company or a shoe brand. And then I think, staying at home, being around loved ones is most probably the right decision. Everyone needs different things in their career. So it's hard to generalize, but for me, definitely it was a good decision to go to the US and run for the Lady Razorbacks.
Yeah, and it makes sense why so many sports administrators have been actually calling to better the varsity structures for South African athletes across different sports.
Yeah, for sure. We've seen it with rugby in South Africa that the college level has just, become so much better, and there's so much competition and so much more support. And it would be great to see that support, go into other sports like track and field at a college level in South Africa.